everyone, and welcome to day 5 of Winston. So here we go, chapter 5, a special delivery. It was George. He had been snoring, as always, but was now awake. He padded softly over to the group and yawned loudly. Want to get to Paris, eh? He said sleepily. Winston nodded. Said George. I think I might just have an idea. Everyone leaned forward eagerly to listen. Why don't you post yourself? George said, and then he sat back on his tail feathers and closed his eyes once more. Post myself? Squeaked Winston. George opened an eye. Yes, that's the idea. Pop yourself in an envelope, get addressed to Prue's cousin, and then you'll be in Paris in an instant. The post is whizzing about like mad at the moment. It'll be far quicker than walking there, especially on those little paws. Is that possible? Asked Eduardo. Can mice post themselves? Said Prue. Winston didn't know, but he was going to find out. His mind was racing. We'll have to go back to the toy shop, he said. And I'll have to find an envelope and type a label, and... He was interrupted by Edna. No, she said. That will take far too much time. You'll have to go straight to the post office and sneak in there. They'll have everything you need. Envelopes, stamps, that sort of thing. She turned to Pamela. Pam, what time do the post trucks leave the post office? Pam grinned. I've just had a wonderful idea, she said. Why doesn't young Winston post himself to Paris? Everyone looked at her. Oh, she said with a giggle. Has somebody already said that? Edna quickly went over the plan again. Thankfully, Pam got it this time, and she gave them the information they needed. The truck set off from the post office at 10 o'clock sharp. Everyone squinted down at the clock on the nearby tower. They only had 10 minutes to get Winston on his way to Paris. Suddenly there was a lot of action. After saying a hurried goodbye and thank you to Edna, George and Pamela, Winston and Eduardo leapt onto Prue's back, and she hurtled down the spiral stairs of the cathedral spire. It was dizzying, and Winston felt a jumble of emotions, excitement, anticipation, panic. He had to get on that post truck. Prue burst out of the tower and shot like a fluffy white cannonball down the aisle, startling a choir master who came to tidy the cathedral in readiness for the morning. She tumbled out onto the street and dashed through the crowds, weaving this way and that, through the legs of people leaving restaurants and theatres. On her back, Eduardo and Winston clung for dear life as they were bobbed about in the rush. Eventually they arrived at the post office, and not a moment too soon. Parked on the road outside, its engine belching great clouds of exhaust into the night air, was a truck. A man was already hurling enormous, well-stuffed sacks full of mail into the back of it. Quick! Squeaked Winston, and he and Eduardo dived off Prue's back, tumbling tail over ears, until they crashed into the door of the post office. With Prue acting as lookout on the street, the two rodent chums wiggled their way through the low letterbox and into the shop. It was dark inside, but there was just enough light from a small twinkling Christmas tree on the counter for them to see by. Eduardo immediately rummaged around in drawers to find a suitably mouse-sized envelope. Then Winston hopped on the typewriter to hammer out the address Prue had given him. Mr. Gaspard Pantefol, number 804, Rue de Canals, Paris, France, urgent. They stuck on as many stamps as they could find to make absolutely sure it would get to its destination before wiggling their way back outside, dragging the envelope with them. Hurry up, mewed Prue. He's on his last few bags. The pile of sacks had diminished and only a couple remained on the pavement. Winston dived inside the envelope and Prue poked a few air holes in it with her claw. She was just out to lick the sticky edge shut when Winston realised that he would have to head off on his next part of his adventure alone. There was no room in the envelope for Eduardo or Prue. It was a frightening thought. He was going out into the big, wide world by himself, to somewhere completely unknown, to find someone he only half remembered. Would he find the mysterious singer from his memories, or would he get hopelessly lost miles from his home and his friends? Prue and Eduardo could tell that Winston was worried. Eduardo gave him a tight squeeze, and Prue nuzzled him softly with her velvety nose. We will be waiting for you when you come back, she said. Creme brulee, said Eduardo heartily. He meant bonne chance, which means good luck. Winston giggled, feeling braver already. He nestled down inside his envelope, whilst Prue stuck it shut and put it on the last mail sack. Almost immediately, the bag was hurled into the lorry, and the engine revved. With a final peek through one of the holes in his envelope, Winston saw his friends waving to him as he set off on his adventure into the night. We'll have to find out what happens in chapter 6 tomorrow. Have a very Merry Christmas, everyone. See you later.